Hello, everyone, and welcome to 3Y TV tonight's broadcast of the National Sim Racing Association Beer Street Journal Grand National Series from the beautiful Talladega Super Speedway in Talladega, Alabama. 160 miles on hand here tonight at the 2.66-mile racetrack. I'm Peter Short, and joining me alongside for every lap here tonight is none other than Mr. Garrett Gleason. And Garrett, look at this pack racing by the camera right here. We're going to see a lot of that tonight.
Yeah, Peter, we're going to have a big pack. We're going to have some crazy moves out there, and I'm glad to be back after my 1 week hiatus, but I missed Martinsville short track action last week. Chris Darling comes home with a win, and he's also a contender here tonight. We're going to have to keep an eye on him.
Yeah, Chris Darling, always one to look out for here when you come to the high banks of Talladega Super Speedway. He won here a season or so ago in the Truck Series side of things here in the National Sim Racing Association. You see all these trucks. These are cars. It's been a long day for me, folks. First off, want to apologize for getting the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series link up so late. We had internet outages here today. I had to go into work. Had to work a 10-hour day. Had to make up some time as, holy cow, that's 3 wide. And then 25 machine Purdue goes around, and holy smokes, a lot more smoke out there on the racetrack. But I want to apologize for that. Glad we were able to get that up for you here in time and have this race on 3Y TV as it was previously scheduled. There is the number 11, and holy smokes, getting absolutely pummeled there by, I think, one of the threat level midnight machines. But I was about to say that it's Veterans Day. We got a couple of veteran schemes out there on the racetrack, that being one of them, the number 11 of Darling. Also, Drew Eisenmann with a veteran scheme, Josh Sobel sporting one as well, so keep your eyes on that. And of course, we want to thank each and every veteran throughout the nation, to thank you for your patriotism and supporting our country. And our country could not be where it is without you, that's for sure. And great to kind of give thanks on this day, Chief.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge thank you to all the veterans out there. My grandparents both served, and it's always a day for me to just sit back and reflect on how good we all have it, and it's thanks to those brave men and women who are always out there keeping us safe. So let's hope we can put on a good show for them tonight, and maybe one of the Veterans Day inspired cars will win this race tonight.
And there you see the very bright camo of Josh Sobel in the number 56 there on the right hand side of your screen. We'll be keeping our eyes on him in the 56 here tonight. It'll be very hard to miss that number 56 here tonight. Just checking out the chat, Mitchell Adams saying RIP in the chat, of course, for one of those heavy collisions that we just saw a little while ago. And the Goon Squad in here tonight. How is it going? Really appreciate you stopping by here on the channel to watch a little bit of the action here on 3Y TV here tonight. Luckily able to squeak this one in here on the channel. As I said, there should be a good race, 160 miles here at Talladega, 60 laps on hand here tonight. Garrett, we're about to move over into our qualifying session, of course, brought to you by our good friends over at craigsetupshop.co.uk, as a little bit of bump drafting gone bad. And yeah, well, hopefully we don't see a lot of this in the race, Garrett, but seems like it's been, I would call it a little bit of a smashy-crashy practice here right at the end of the 30 minutes that these drivers get.
Yeah, Peter, absolutely. There's been a lot of wrecks going on. That one was pretty comical as well. But these guys don't have a mulligan tonight. There are no fast repairs, so that's a little bit different than the guys who were able to race last night in the Super Speedway Series. Ben Mashburn ended up taking home the win last night. That was a great finish as well. But test the limits in practice. That's the idea here at Talladega. Know how hard you can push a guy. Can you push him in the corner on the last lap? Figure all that stuff out, because you're not going to get 2 chances to do it during the race. You could wreck somebody and cost yourself a chance at this win, or somebody a chance at the championship, as we look at Josh Sobel getting ready to head out for his qualifying lap.
Yeah, but importantly, not yet going out on his qualifying lap. So let's see if we can check out some of those drivers who are actively rolling out there onto the racetrack. There is Philip Scott, Doot on the rear of the National Ninja League Ford Mustang. We'll see him get up to speed here tonight. And of course, we always have to talk about the big one here at Talladega. When will we see that big one? Of course, we'll ask that question to the chat here in just a little bit using the YouTube poll features. We always kind of ask that when we come to these super speedways. But Garrett, I want to turn over to our good friends over at Beer Street Journal for just a moment while these cars get wound up. And Beer Street Journal, if you have not checked it out this week, folks, there is some big news in the craft beer world. And this one comes as a little bit of a shock to me. But Larry Bell, the founder of Bell's Brewery up in Michigan, has sold Bell's Brewery, which to me is an absolute shock. If you have been in the craft beer scene, you know Bell's Brewery here in the United States, and they've sold it. It's going to the owner of New Belgium's parent company. So you probably know New Belgium for a lot of their beers. Well, now Bell's is going to become part of that fold. I don't know how I feel about that, but all I do know is I love their beer. Hopefully their beer does not change. Great to at least see progress. Hopefully that allows us to get some more Bells throughout the USA and some more down here in Texas. One thing that's up there, though, that's really polarizing, Garrett, is Arby's is releasing a French fry flavored vodka. And if you guys want to find out a little bit more on BeerStreetJournal.com, you can. But Garrett, what do you think about French fry flavored vodka? It comes in two types. You get crinkle fry vodka or curly fry vodka.
Yeah,
I'm scratching my head.
There's a lot of big fans of curly fries at Arby's for sure. Not a big fan of fries, Peter. And when I do drink, which is very rarely, I'm not really a vodka fan. Although there was a sweet tea vodka I was kind of fond of that maybe a year or so ago. I can't even remember what the name is, but maybe we'll have to try it, Peter. Maybe we could do a little something if Beer Street Journal keeps us up to date on all these comings and goings. Maybe we could start doing some taste tests for the people and let them know.
Yeah, I don't know. That one definitely leaving me scratching my head. There's also news up there that Shiner, of course, out of Shiner, Texas, if you're unfamiliar with them, they're coming out with a hard seltzer in dill pickle flavor. Again, this is just an odd week. If you want to check out BeerStreetJournal.com and find out all the news about these different new craft beers and seltzers and vodkas, I mean, a French fry vodka, can you even consider that a craft vodka? I don't know. We'll let the chat decide. But make sure to check out BeerStreetJournal.com. The time is clicking down here on qualifying. CraigSetupShop.co.uk poll shootout. Big shout out to them handing out the poll award here in the National Sim Racing Association. Currently, atop the board, Jeffrey Vickery, the number 21 threat level Midnight Machine, Alexander Kerfon second, Philip Scott, Randy Perdue, Glenn Grimm, rounding out your current top five as things sit here at this racetrack. As you see how big this racetrack is, Garrett, it was originally built on a Air Force base from World War II. In fact, those are the runways that you can see there in the infield.
Well, that's impressive, Peter. I actually did not know that. All the times we've come here over the years, and I did not know that this was an old Air Force base. And we're racing here on Veterans Day. Look at that.
You know, that's a really good tie-in. Props to NSRA if they came up with that. But you can actually see the two runways. And interestingly enough, the one that kind of is diagonal across the track, you can even look at the top left of your screen. You can actually see how it extends past the grandstands there on the backstretch, and you can even see some of the other runways and taxiways from the old Air Force base. But checkered flag has fallen. Jeffrey Vickery, fastest of all in our session, in our qualifying session, and he will pick up the pole award here tonight. Let's see if we can. There is the number 21 machine. Bring up that Craig Setup Shop pole position award right there for the driver of that Chevy Camaro. He'll be looking to team up with his other threat level Midnight Motorsports teammates in the field here tonight. Garrett, it's time for us to go through tonight's starting lineup for tonight's 160-mile event. Why don't you take us away up at the top?
All right, we already talked about our pulse there. Jeffrey Vickery in the number 21. We have Alexander Kerfon to his outside in the number 30. Ninja Philip Scott, who wants to win a race. Not sure if he wants it to be here at Talladega, but we'll see how he does tonight, starting third. Randy Perdue starts the number 25 in the 4th position. Glenn Grimm will start the 08 from 5th. Josh Sobel, rocking the military camo, in the number 56, will start 6th. The Wild Child, John Canzaro, rolls off 7th. The Canadian Dale Earnhardt, Mike Tellier, rolls off 8th. The Sheriff, Justin White, rolls off 9th. And I don't have a nickname for Maxwell Castro yet, but he's been a contender every week. He'll start 10th.
On the inside of row number 6 here tonight is the number 03. That is Jordan Dworachik in that machine. Starting alongside him in the 12th position here tonight, the other threat level midnight machine of Stephen Ford. Looking a little bit further back in the field now, starting in the 13th position, Brady Smith with Matt Cherry alongside him. Joshua Watt, another Canadian in the field, will be rolling off from 15th. Stephen Lashinsky will be starting on the outside of row number 8 tonight. Back behind them, Jason Gracias and Corey Shellman, row number 9. Chris Darling and Drew Eisenmann, the last 2 drivers to take time here tonight, 19th and 20th, G.
Yeah, we have these other guys who did not attempt to put in the qualifying lap. James Miller in the 09 will start 21st. John Freeman, who had another good run last week, finished in the top 5, starts 22nd. Kevin Finn will start 23rd. And Race Clark, surprising to see him back there, Peter, in 24th. Ben Mashburn, who won the race last night, will start 25th. And Shane Ledoux will start 26th and close out our 26-car field tonight.
26 cars here tonight for the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series Talladega 160. I want to thank you all for joining us in the chat here on 3YTV. Stay tuned, Sports jumping in, saying, oh, geez, Garrett is back. I'm on my way out. What's up, everyone? Well, Garrett, you won't have to deal with the fans of the Philadelphia Eagles in the chat if you leave, so that's okay. Stay tuned, Sports, saying that explains why that weird beer flavor, it's from Dallas, tastes like veal. Can't say because kids are in the room. Well, Stay tuned, Sports, what beer are you talking about? If you're talking about the pickle seltzer, it's from Shiner, Texas, which is southeast of Austin. I've actually never been there. I've always wanted to go to Shiner, Texas. Maybe might need to make that a trip one day. Garrett Gleason's trying to leave. Garrett, no, you cannot leave. That is a big nope. And Bells is, of course, from Michigan, so I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about. Stay tuned, Sports. Maybe you can ask. Brantley Roden asking how many laps are we running here tonight. 60 laps, plus the possibility of Beer Street Journal last calls here tonight. Shiner, Dallas, it's all the same. Shiner is nowhere close to Dallas at all. Philadelphia is probably closer to where you are than Shiner is to Dallas. But anyway, green flag is about to come out here, Garrett. The field working their way through the tri-oval here up at the front of the field. And, Brantley, we do have overlays just getting ready for the green flag to come out here in just a moment. We usually wait for those to come up so the graphics don't confuse people. But there's the green flag, and there are the graphics. The 21, Jeffrey Vickery, leads us towards turn number 1.
Well, Peter, that inside lane did not get a great start. I don't know if there's some team orders at play or what, but it seems like Josh Sobel is able to clear and get to the bottom. Let's keep an eye and see how long it takes these guys to fan out 3 wide here at Talladega. It shouldn't be long. Of
course, a big question is going to be how patient will these drivers be here tonight? A little bit of a short race. Only 60 laps here. Once these drivers get up to speed, and they are almost up to speed now at this point, these laps will start to click by very, very quickly. Here we are on board with Joshua Sobel sporting that very bright camo. You might kind of need that camo maybe in some parts of the ocean. I am not exactly 100% sure, but right now he finds himself up inside the top 5, right behind Philip Scott, 186 miles an hour as we complete lap number 1 here at Talladega.
Yeah, lap 1 in the books. These guys are minding their manners so far, and there's the 3 wide I was looking for. It looks like, is that Matt Cherry and Jason Gracias up top?
Yeah, they jump up to the top side. Gracias right behind the Stay Tuned Sports Ford Mustang of Cherry. Those 3 drivers on the top side getting an absolute huge run up to the front of the field. The number 69, Steven Lashinsky, is also in that group. Now a couple of other drivers starting to join them on that high line. So we are 3 wide for the race lead. Randy Perdue, the number 25 machine, is in the inside. Meanwhile, Alexander Kerfon has gotten in front of the number 21 of Jeffrey Vickery and is currently your race leader. But Garrett, I'm so impressed with the way that outside line, they hooked up very, very quickly, and they picked up a ton of positions that last lap. That's how quickly things can change here at Dega.
Yeah, that outside lane's making good progress here, Peter. You have to have a guy that knows how to make the move at the right time, and then you need a guy that's really good at pushing, and both those guys in the outside lane qualify for where they're at on the racetrack. Jason Gracias is one of the more aggressive, yet talented and safe pushers there are out there, and it's no surprise to see him leading the outside lane, but they're losing a little bit of momentum right now, Peter.
Yeah, they are losing a little bit of momentum as the number 25 machine, Randy Perdue, he's all by his lonesome there in the middle as we continue to run 3 wide. If you look at the back of the field, top of the screen there briefly, a group has kind of fallen back, Garrett, to try and distance themselves from this front pack as the number 17, John Cannizzaro, running the David Pearson throwback here tonight in his Ford Mustang. He's going to jump up to the top side. Philip Scott and Josh Sobel also went together to the top side. They're trying to get themselves up to the front. Mike Floppy Tellier, however, in the Total Nonstop Racing Mustang, he's stuck behind the 2 threat-level Midnight machines as they start to jostle down the backstretch. Cannizzaro now thrown into the sucker hole.
Yeah, John Cannizzaro gets a break there with those guys pulling down from the outside lane, but the middle is usually not the place you want to be here, unless maybe it's the last lap and you're making a last-ditch effort, but hanging strong so far, and now the outside lane is struggling again for momentum.
Yeah, that outside lane, they had a good number of cars up there a little while ago, Garrett. That now down to just 3 cars. Still Matt Cherry and Jason Gracias nose to tail. Stephen Lashinsky, who is one of those drivers who went with them early, he's still sticking on to that 3-car train up there. Now the number 17 of Cannizzaro says, you know what, let me... Oh, contact! And a couple of cars going around into the inside of the track. Have we sorted things out here? I don't know. Looks like everyone somehow avoided that, but that will be enough to bring out the first caution flag here tonight.
Peter, I'm going to be real curious to see this replay and see what happened. Looked like Philip Scott was the one that was getting sideways in front of everyone, and he was leading that middle groove.
Well, let's go back and do some investigative 3-wide TV action here for everyone back at home. And of course, we'll have to throw this into 3-wide TV slow-mo as well. Here we go, 3-wide TV slow-mo. Tristan Maher saying, is that William Kerfon? No, it's Alexander Kerfon in the number 30 machine. As you see, a little bit of contact with the 56 and the number 99. Garrett, they became a little bit detached. 99 goes down into Kerfon. The 21 there of Vickery, who was our craigsetupshop.co.uk pole sitter there, getting some damage. Mike Floppy Tellier getting some damage from the number 25. That is Perdue, who hit him. But miraculously, all of the drivers able to save their vehicles. It was enough to bring out the first caution flag here tonight, but somehow we just got a couple of dinged up race cars, not any wrecked race cars.
Yeah, great job by everyone getting through that, Peter. And Floppy, his car looked like it stopped its momentum completely and went to turn under the accident and then got hit from behind. He did a tremendous job getting away from that. It looked great on the replay, and it looks even better there in full speed. But I think the only real damage we have is the blue cone. We're going to have to replace that, and I think we could go back racing here pretty shortly. These guys will all get their fenders pulled out and maybe slap some tape on and be still in contention.
The drivers that were involved in the accident, we believe, Philip Scott, Alexander Kerfon in the number 30, the number 21 of Jeffrey Vickery. Ben Bashburn got a piece of it, the number 25 of Randy Perdue, the number 97 of Mike Floppy Tellier. So I think about 6 drivers or so picking up some level of damage in that particular accident, but hopefully not a whole lot of damage. There's Tellier. You can see he's in his pit box, possibly getting some of that damage repaired. A lengthy stop for the number 97 here. Looks like the number 2 of Justin White. He's elected to take on tires under this pit stop, maybe a little bit early for tires here at Talladega. Limited tire sets here in the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series as well. Stephen Ford rolling out on to the racetrack. Going to see if anyone else had lengthy pit stops. As you see the 21, we knew he was involved in the accident. We knew the number 99 was involved in the accident. The 15 of Castro having kind of a long stop. Same thing with Matt Cherry. Maybe we can go back and get another look to see whether those drivers were involved in that incident here, because I didn't exactly see anything out of them that might lead them to be kind of involved in that accident. I guess we can find out here. Let's go on board with Matt Cherry. He's in the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast with Jimbo Machine. Link to their pod being in the description. There's the initial contact, and looks like he got through it here, Garrett, but not exactly sure why he... Ooh, there was a little bit of contact there with the 30, though. Wonder if that gave him some damage. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I mean, he could be just taking a breather, trying to let everyone pass him on pit road, or perhaps he had to jump out of the car and take a pee break, Peter. Guess we'll never know unless we get that pit reporter we've been asking for, but I don't think the budget is there yet.
Well, I can say that if he had to pee after, 5 or 6 laps, maybe didn't quite plan his evening quite right. But anyway, we are under the caution flag for the first time here tonight, just checking out the chat. I wouldn't consider that by any means the quote-unquote big one, the big accident that you usually see here at Talladega Superspeedway. Stay tuned sports. In the chat, was mentioning Garrett a little while ago that it reminds him of the Dudley Boys from WWF, WWE. I still call it WWF. They changed it to E, and I was disappointed. But anyway, it is what it is. WWF nowadays is for pandas and stuff. But in my books, WWF is people throwing people onto the ground and lots of fighting and good stuff. But anyway, pace car lights are off. We're going to go back green here shortly.
Yeah, I'm a huge wrestling fan, Peter, and I know Chris Darling is as well. We talk about wrestling now and then. It's a shame the product isn't what it used to be. I don't know if that's a product of us growing up or just where the state of the WWE is nowadays, but WWE, AEW, it's all something. It's like a male soap opera, and you enjoy it for what it is, and don't take it too personally. But back to action here on the track. Hopefully now Josh knows the limits of how he could push out there, but he won't have to worry about being pushing because he's set to take the lead of this outside lane as we go green.
Yeah, Sobel lucky there after that mention of contact that sent the number 99 Philip Scott around. That Sobel did not accrue any further damage from that. Pace car lights, however, continue to stay off. The field doubling up for the restart. John Cannizzaro saying Austin 316 is better than The Rock. Ugh. Man, I'll tell you what, Stone Cold and The Rock, I mean, that was the era, I think. I don't think there's been another era. Maybe I just have the rosy goggles because that was the era that I actually watched some WWF. But, I still think that a lot of purists say that era was the best era because you had The Rock, you had, all these big names, you had Undertaker in there. It was just good. It was fun. It was exciting to watch, and I don't know. I'll Garrett, you know more than I do. Feel free to chime in, but we are about to go green.
Peter, nothing like being a kid and seeing Stone Cold Steve Austin pull a gun out on Vince McMahon on TV, and as a kid you're like, he's going to shoot him in the middle of the ring in front of all these people, but it didn't happen. But speaking of things that are going to actually happen, we're going back green.
Yeah, things that do happen at Talladega Superspeedway. You know that there's going to be green flag, and you know there's going to be a big one. Isn't that right? As they head off towards turn number 1, that outside line, Garrett shot out of like a cannon. And Josh Sobel and the one of Jason Grossi's here trying to pull away from the entire field. They are locked nose to tail as some of the drivers towards the back now start to go 2 and 3 wide, jostling for position here early in this run.
Yeah, that's what we call team orders there, Peter. The TNR team of Gracias and Sobel got together there and made it work for them, and they're almost tandem drafting, but as you know at Talladega, if you get out to a big lead, it's only a matter of time till they use it against you and use it to catch up to you and pass you. So these guys behind them are going to have a heck of a run. We'll see if they pull out of the line as the field's kind of scattered from the second groove on.
Yeah, so top 3 single file. Joshua Watt, who was on the inside on that restart, he has fallen into 3rd, the Canadian driver there with DeWalt on the hood. The Matt Kenseth throwback scheme right there. And of course, being followed by the David Pearson throwback scheme. Stephen Lashinsky to his outside in the Monster Jam machine. And behind him, looks like that is the number 33 of, I think that's Jordan Dorachik, who has 03. Yes, assuming it is 03 on that Chevy Camaro right there. He, I think, might have been rear-ended a little bit under that last accident. You have a little bit of rear-end damage, but it looks like he is trying to find a little bit of the Dale vibes here at Talladega. Of course, Dale Earnhardt won here at Talladega in 2000 with an unbelievable last 5 laps in that particular race, and I'm sure that Dvorchik is going to try and find some of that magic here tonight.
Man, that would be something to see Dvorchik take the 0-3 to victory lane here. And it's also a shame that our buddy Jason Shu isn't here, and the other 3 that looks pretty much identical. Would have been fun to commentate on that, Peter, as we have a car dropping down to the apron. Don't know if that is that Chris Darling, if that was intentional or just to let the field go, or if something happened there.
Yeah, Chris Darling right there in that veteran scheme. I think he's seen enough of that front pack. He's going to drop back. They've been racing very hard, and he says, you know what, I'm just going to drop to the back and watch out to see if maybe something is going to happen up in the Hornet's Nest up at the front. We've just completed the first 11 laps, And Joshua Watt in that number 20, who's Beer Street journaling and driving right now up at the front of the field, is your race leader. Stephen Lashinsky now going to be leading the high line as Watt drops to the bottom. I'm sure Lashinsky's probably going, what just happened there? Because he's kind of left all by his lonesome up there, but now he can get a strong run with Dvorchik right behind him, trying to push him to the race lead.
Yeah, wow, this action is incredible, Peter, and Joshua Watt looking good there on the inside, and then a second later, Lashinsky on the outside is coming for the lead. It's incredible what can happen at Talladega, and this is the perfect opportunity for these guys to put their names on the map here in the NSRA Beer Street Journal Grand National Series. Run up front all race long and get the checker flag, and then you'll always be a winner in this series, and nobody can take that away from you. And that's what you need to do when you're these guys coming to this race. You decide to tell your family tonight, listen, I love you, but I need to go run this race. I have a chance of winning, and it's time to prove it. And that's what these guys are doing right now, Peter.
And keeping our eyes on Ben Mashburn, he is in the eye of the storm right there. He has a little bit of front-end damage from contact in that last accident, but doesn't seem to be affecting him all too much, as he's just trying to split it up the middle to charge his way up to the front of the field. Now battling side by side, 3 wide now for the second or fourth or third. I don't know, hard to tell here at Talladega with how quickly things change. But he's up there now inside the top 5 after getting that little bit of damage with a powerful move through the field.
Ben Mashburn's always one to make the power moves, make the unexpected moves, and as we say that, he goes right through the middle and puts himself at least side by side for the lead, if not in the lead itself. And I'm just watching the number 1 of Jason Gracias because historically he likes to make those moves with Ben Mashburn because he knows Mashburn goes to the front, and they kind of have similar driving styles when it comes to these plate races. It looks like right now Jason's staying in line for the bottom, but we'll see if he pops up in front of Ben here as they go down the backstretch.
Yeah, we will see. It looks like Gracias is staying right there on the inside line. Cannizzaro in the 17 going to wash up with Gracias. You called it there, Garrett, that Gracias eventually went up to the top, but Cannizzaro went with him, and they almost pinched a 24 Mashburn up into Stephen Lashinsky, and now the front pack is just splintered just a little bit with the number 56 of Josh Sobel, your current race leader, as they work their way through the tri-oval to the start-finish line this time.
Josh Sobel's definitely... Oh, we have a Joshua Watt getting turned, Peter.
And Watt's gone around. Where is Watt? There is the number 20 machine. And folks, I apologize for the ticker up at the top of the screen. We just Had to reset it. There we go. It should be moving now. Just realized that it's not moving. So the 20 of Watt has gone around, and he's probably now saying what just happened to himself there.
Well, Peter, we certainly don't know what happened yet. Let's check this replay output. I was going to say about Josh Sobel, he's becoming one of those guys that a lot of guys trust to lead at these plate events, and it's an impressive run for him so far as we look at this replay. And we see Watt sliding up, and Ben was there, and that's plate racing for you, I think, buddy.
Yeah, Watt spinning down into the inside of the racetrack, so no caution flag will fly. The rule is that it has to be at least 2 cars for a caution flag to come out here in the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series. That, of course, really only involving 1 vehicle, so the green flag will stay out. Of course, if Watt falls a lap down, he will be eligible for the Lucky Dog Award, courtesy of our friends over at Brookstone Animal Hospital. So we will see how far Watt falls back here as this race continues to run green. If you're just now joining us here on 3Y TV, the BeerStreetJournal.com Grand National Series here tonight. 1 caution in the opening 16 laps. Didn't even really take out any cars. It was a big bumper car fest of sorts down the backstretch that caused the field to break up and was just enough for the in-race officials to throw a caution flag so everyone could get bunched back together. But as you can see, this is your front pack right now with Mike Floppy Tellier trying to go up through the middle, kind of yo-yoing back and forth there, Garrett. The 97 didn't exactly look stable there when he made that move.
Peter, you'd be the best one to explain this to the viewers, but sometimes it's like with, I guess, physics or anything else. You have all this speed and all this momentum, and you have to go somewhere with it. You can either go through the guy in front of you, or you have to pull out of line, and it looks like that's exactly what happened to Mike. He just had too much of a run and had nowhere to go with it, so he darted into the middle and hoped for the best.
Yeah, and also when that happens, I mean, look at your vision in front of you. You don't have a lot out front that you can see. You can see a lot of the rear bumper of the car that's immediately in front of you, but really you're kind of driving with your peripheral vision here at Talladega Superspeedway more often than not, as again you see the drivers in front of them start to yo-yo back and forth. That's the threat level midnight 21 and the 30. Jeffrey Vickery and Alexander Kerfon, both of those drivers who were involved in incidents, or the 1 caution flag that we've had here tonight, they've found themselves back up towards the front. Now Telly are going to go with the number 21, as he might have got a little bit loose there on entry. You see the hand motion's just a little bit unstable here. See if we can get a look kind of above the roof line of the Total Nonstop Racing Ford as he continues to bump the back of Jeffrey Vickery. That inside line, though, still staying strong relative to this middle group.
Peter, that was perfect timing by you going to the camera when you did, and for the viewers, I hope you appreciate how quickly that happened between the 30 Kerfon, the 21 Vickery, and the 97 of Mike Tellier. Mike could have went outside, could have went through the middle. He had such a run through the middle, and you saw what happened. He was able to take advantage of it, but that's how quickly things happen here at Talladega. It's no different than being on the highway and picking which lane's moving faster as traffic is getting bogged down, but you're doing it at 200 miles an hour here and you can't see.
The one thing I do want to mention here tonight, folks, is the fact that I believe that that pit stop that pretty much the entire field made on lap number 6 under the 1 caution flag that we had, I believe it's going to put them all in the window to make it to the end of the race on just 1 more stop. So we expect these drivers probably to come down pit road maybe sometime around lap number 33 or so to get them to the end of the race. I think that will be right. We'll have to wait and see. But there is your front pack, primarily 2x2, and then a little bit further back, one of those drivers that we were just talking about a little while ago here, Garrett, Ben Mashburn, has fallen his way all the way down to 15th. There's Matt Cherry in the number 54. Chris Darling back here, the 99 of Philip Scott. We know he's a hard charger. He wants to be up near the front, but he got some damage in that accident. Justin White, who took tires on lap number 6, he's back here. There he is, running in 18th. Hard to miss that Monster Energy machine. Garrett, of course, we used to run Monster Energy schemes back in the day. I distinctly remember having a no sugar Monster Energy car, I believe painted by you once upon a time. But behind them, we got James Miller. He's running in 20th. Then 21st is Corey Shellman, the Canon Water Filters number 9 machine. And then league newcomer, definitely not a newcomer to my neck of the woods, Kevin Finn there in the number 44 machine. I've raced with Kevin. I've been Kevin's teammate. Great to see him here in the National Sim Racing Association running a really cool looking Jamie McMurray Texaco Haviland throwback. I really loved that Jamie McMurray scheme there from the mid-2000s with the yellow and the blue and the chrome and all that. I always felt like that was a great combination of colors on a race car. I didn't think it exactly matched the Texaco Haviland sponsor, but nonetheless, it was a great scheme and really cool to see Drew Eisenmann painted Eisen design scheme out there here tonight. Race Clark in the National Air and Space Administration. We've seen him blasting off into space. He's not one Team Rocket, but maybe he'll have a rocket ship here tonight in that Ford Mustang. He's currently running down in the 23rd position. Meanwhile, back behind him is the number 77 of Drew Eisenmann. Of course, he is a veteran himself. I want to thank Drew for his service. He's running that number 77 machine here tonight with a little bit of camo, and also has happy birthday to the Marines. I think 246 or 264. I'm getting a little bit some of my numbers back to front there, but I think it's 246. We can find out here. Let's see if we can go look back from Race Clark. There you go, 246. I was right there. Happy birthday to the Marine Corps. And then back behind Drew Eisenmann is the Toyota Supra driven by Brady Smith. Nothing runs like a deer. The John Deere Toyota Supra right there. And that's kind of the back half of your field here in the Talladega 160 and the BeerStreetJournal.com Grand National Series here on 3 Wide TV. But up at the front of the field, Garrett, we look away for just a brief moment, and it seems like things have calmed down just a little bit with Sobel pulling the number 1 of Gracias, the number 17 of John Canizaro, then the number 25 of Randy Perdue, and Steven Lashinsky, your top 5, all being pulled along by Sobel.
Yeah, the Pied Piper tonight is Joshua Sobel in that 56 machine, Peter. And these guys are all playing nice right now. I'm assuming they are hoping to just get into their pit window and make the stop with their designated teammates. And we're going to see if that happens, but you never know. Sometimes right before that pit stop, guys decide to mix it up if they know you're coming to pit road and want to pass you, and that's when sometimes we see some chaos. But I'm hoping these guys mind their manners for a little longer. But as I say that, looks like we're forming a second group, Peter.
Yeah, and you just have to start thinking here, Garrett. When do you think these drivers are going to start trying to position themselves in a position for a pit stop? It might be just a little bit too early for these drivers to get themselves into a position to make their final pit stop here tonight, but I don't think it will be all too long before they'll have to start thinking about that, because it could be just one green flag pit stop that completely determines how your race is going to go. How many times have we seen drivers throw away an opportunity at getting a win here on 3 Wide TV by missing their pit box, speeding on pit road, that type of thing? So these drivers will want to hit pit road as cleanly and as smoothly as they can once they do need to come down pit road. But right now, the threat level Midnight machines, they're giving a little bit of a threat to the race lead as they're looking to the high side of Josh Sobel. That is Shane Ledoux in the number 12 machine leading that high line as of right now.
Threat level Midnight guys were strong as a group last night. I was watching them, Peter, and I think some of that experience is obviously helping tonight as they're able to run together as a team. Again, as I say that, they fan out and they lose one of their members, but we just had a comment in our YouTube comments that check out the John Deere machine, because that is an updated design courtesy of Harpoon Design. So thank you for listening to us. I'm glad somebody does. That John Deere car looks great, and let's hope it has a good run to pay off tonight.
Let's hope it runs like a deer, isn't that right? As I head down the backstretch, the outside line has fallen back just a little bit. Shane Ledoux has fallen back to the 03 of Dworachick, and also the 08 machine right there, Ricky Bobby vibes on the 08 of Glenn Grimm here. Grimm running inside the top 10 right now in the 9th position, with Mike Floppy Tellier knocking on his door, as looks like the first driver to come down pit road here. And this is an interesting one, Garrett, is Joshua Watt. Remember, Watt spun down onto the apron of the racetrack. And when that happened, he lost the draft and had to go all the way, or lost all that time, lost the draft, kept losing time, ended up one lap down. He did not pit under that caution flag early in the race. So he made it 27 laps. Garrett, you can kind of put that in your notebook. He made 27 laps in that car. Actually, no, only 26 laps in that car, because remember, he's one lap down before having to come down and make his first pit stop here tonight. So with that in mind, we might actually see more green flag pit stops, 2 green flag pit stops. And as I say that, here comes Joshua Sobel to prove that point here as, Tellier kills the cone, and he's off in the grass lawn mowing in the Total Nonstop Racing 97.
Mike has had a variety of lawn care sponsors over the John Deere, Case Tractors, I believe he also ran. And he's definitely making use of that right now as he misses his pit road entry. And Mike is one of the best at getting the pit road that I've ever seen, but he does push it to the absolute max on entry, and looks like that might have been what happened here. And let's check that out before I go even further into commentary on this incident.
Yeah, let's see if we can see what happened here. Just getting on the brakes a little bit late, trying to get all he could get, and his window of opportunity just closed up, got the yellow cone. I don't know if there's any bonus points for killing the yellow cone, but if there were, Tellier would definitely have got those right there. Meanwhile, everyone else doing a good job of getting into pit lane. Unfortunately for Tellier, that is going to result in a penalty for him because of the fact, Garrett, he did not make it between the yellow cone and pit road entry. That yellow cone, if you hit it, if you go to the right of it, you will end up with a penalty.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be getting a penalty there, Peter. And that just it looked very weird to me on the replay there, like something happened. I understand he was coming in at a high rate of speed, but it almost looked like the car wouldn't stop slow down, stop. I'm using the word stop incorrectly, but slow down for him as much as he thought it was going to. So tough break for Mike, but this is still got 31 laps to go here, so he'll have a chance of getting a lucky dog, get back on the lead lap, but has to serve that penalty first, Peter. Good job by these other guys getting the pit road. I did want to comment on that. Usually, as a team, for the viewers, you're going to say, all right, I'm the first one of this team pitting. I'm going to take the inside, you take my outside, and then you go through the list. If you have 5 teammates, inside, outside. This way you don't run each other over coming to pit road. It seemed like everyone did a pretty decent job of that on those stops.
Interestingly, here, Garrett, though, is up at the front of the field. You have a lot of drivers who have yet to come down pit road. I was expecting to see Sobel lead that group down, and then basically every other car come down pit road the very next lap. That did not happen. This group of drivers that you're looking at right now are your race leaders, race led by Shane Ledoux in the green threat level Midnight Machine, but here they start to peel off onto the racetrack. Looks like we still have another group of drivers staying out, though. Ledoux is one of those. So who just elected to come down pit road? John Freeman, and we're hearing that something might have actually happened to John Freeman. Let's check out John Freeman right here. There he is in the 04 machine coming down. There's Maxwell Castro in the number 15 right there. And contact between Glenn Grimm and John Freeman. Freeman doing a little bit of grass growing as well. That's going to result in a penalty for John Freeman there. So this pit cycle under green here, Garrett has caught out 2 drivers.
Nothing more frustrating than pitting as a team and still having an issue. 3 of you coming in, you think, oh, that's easy, we're not going to run each other over, everything will be fine. But a simple little mistake can cost you guys a chance at this race, especially if this stays green. And I think we're seeing a variety of strategies. Sometimes teams like to pit early, get out ahead of the pack, and hopefully if you stick together, you'll be able to gap the field. And some of these other guys are staying out long for some reason. Hopefully, and we'll end up seeing how they cycle out.
And here is the Eisentech and World Prestige drivers. The World Prestige Racing drivers in and amongst the Eisentech drivers in the Discord here. These drivers obviously all working together. They are still out there on the racetrack. We expect to see them down pit road here very shortly. Perhaps they're saving fuel to try and make it to the end of the race, but they would have to save an awful lot of fuel, and looks like they're going to come down pit road right now into their pit box, all trying to find the brakes, trying to slow down the number 9. Corey Shellman's very quick there at the top of the screen, almost making contact with Brady Smith, but this will cycle everything, or every driver through this particular pit cycle. Now we will see how it all shakes out right now. Bottom right hand corner of your screen, you can see where the main pack is. The number 11 of Christopher Darling is leading the main pack, as it looks like something has happened to James Miller. Miller having a long stop in the 09 Supra. Not exactly sure if he missed his pit box or what, but that's going to be a long stop for him. Now, here is Race Clark right here, getting passed up by Chris Darling as that train of drivers just scoots on by. Darling is going to inherit the race lead with that move.
Chris Darling, that wily veteran, taking the lead after these pit stops, followed by another veteran and friend of ours, Jason Gracias. And Peter, I'll speak for myself on this. I don't want to lump you into my bad behavior, but I am getting absolutely sick of Chris Darling winning races and running up front. Enough is enough, Chris. Let somebody else have their moment in the sun.
And Jason Gracias and John Kinsler. When can Josh Sobel win a race? Come on, Josh. We're all rooting for you here on 3 Wide TV, haven't so? As I say that, I was just about to say, I haven't seen Rich Sobel in the chat. I look over, and guess who's in the chat? Rich, thanks for joining us here tonight. You are just joining us. Only one caution flag in the opening 34 laps. We just had green flag pit stops. Josh has led a good number of laps here tonight. That's just so funny. I'm like, oh, we haven't seen his dad here tonight, and, well, now we have. There is your lead pack. Joshua Watt in the DeWalt machine is currently 1 lap down, but he is tagging on to this main pack. Mike Floppy Tellier, Joshua Watt 2 laps down. Mike Floppy Tellier in the number 97 is 1 lap down in the number 97 due to his grass mowing escapades. Kevin Finn in the number 44 machine. He looks like he might have had to do a drive-through penalty on his car. Not sure if he sped on pit exit or what, but he's coming back out there onto the racetrack right now. He will be scored 24th position, technically still on the lead lap, at least for another 15, 20 seconds or so, as the lead pack of drivers will quickly swallow him up here. As we're down to just 26 laps to go, race clicking by very quickly. Stay Tuned Sports saying, hey, Rich and Peter, and Garrett, he totally agrees with your comment there about Chris Darling. But unfortunately for you, Darling is leading the race right now.
I won't be upset if Chris Darling wins because we're friends, but I would be happier if Josh Sobel won. That's all I'm saying, Peter. You have your cake and eat it too, I guess, is the saying, and that's kind of what we're going for. As we see a good battle back here, these guys don't seem to have it sorted out at all out there. It looks like it's the last lap coming to the checker between this group of cars.
Well, interestingly, Garrett, this pack of drivers that you see right here are about 7.5 seconds behind the front pack. This group is being led by Justin White, and I'm not sure if these drivers may be thinking about saving fuel to make it to the end or what, but we'll have to check in just a second whether or not these drivers are actually catching that front pack.
Just to shout out Justin White as well. I think it was last week when we were racing in the Truck Series race. Justin White came into our team channel and he said, Garrett, no offense, but get out of the way. Let me lead this pack. I will get us back to that front pack. And sure enough, he did it. So if I was in this group with these guys, I would definitely be following Justin White's lead, because if you can catch this pack, he will be the one to lead you there, and he's got a heck of a pusher and Ben Mashburn behind him.
Well, if you see that right there, Garrett, unfortunately, Justin White is losing time on the front pack. That last time by, Justin White was 4/10 slower than Chris Darling, and the lap before, 0.7 of a second slower. So this group now getting in line to all work together to see if they can close in on that front group, but the front group is so locked up, so tight and neat. There they are. It is going to be fairly difficult for that backpack to close in. That 7 seconds. We'll just see this lap what it's like and see if Darling can continue to pull away from Justin White as the lap count winds down. They're also catching up to the number 69 of Steven Lashinsky. You saw Lashinsky there at the bottom of your screen, and Lashinsky running 23rd right now. Had a long pit stop on the Monster Jam Chevy Camaro. Unsure why that was such a long pit stop. Maybe missed his pit stall or something. But just like that, the 69 is now 1 lap down.
Yeah, tough break when you don't have a partner out there to draft with. You go a lap down here in a hurry with these cars going 200 miles an hour in a pack. And just to go back to Justin White, if we could maybe hit the rewind button. He's trying his best, Peter. Let's not fault him for it. It's probably those other guys behind him that are screwing up the progress. So good job, Justin. You're doing great. Just going back, Peter, to these guys in the front pack as well. The guys in the front pack are all thinking to themselves, guys, let's just mind our manners, get to the end. We have a 7-second gap. We could sell this amongst ourselves. There's no reason for us to cause a yellow and get these other guys involved in the finish of this race. And then you have Floppy up there, who's a lap down, wants to get past the 69, and probably wants a yellow to get back in contention. But if not, he'll try to push one of his teammates, I'm sure. A lot of interesting subplots here, Peter, to keep an eye on.
Yeah, lots of interesting subplots, that is for sure. As you can see, this backpack getting mostly single file now, and I'm just a little bit concerned here for the fact that we have all these wonderful watchers here on 3Y TV, and the fact that well, as I say that, now Race Clark is going to get around Justin White. I look away for just a brief moment, and I was going to say we might just have kind of 2 single file trains, because this train, I would think they'll mostly stay single file to try and catch up to the front train. But then the front train, like you said, Garrett, they're not going to want to get all too racy, because I realize there's still plenty of laps left in this one, and they just want to hold that 8-second advantage. So there is your race leader, Chris Darling. And now, at this moment in time, Race Clark is 9 seconds. He's leading that second group, 9.5 seconds behind. I mean, the energy in this front pack is immense right now. Just that backpack unable to do anything to close in on this front group.
Fast cars in this front group, and a lot of experienced and talented race car drivers who aren't going to put a wheel wrong out there, and they're just going to stay in line. And I'm going to make a prediction here. If this stays green with 5 to go, our boy in 3rd place, John Cannizzaro, will be the first one to make a move. I've raced with John at plenty of these plate races. He always says 5 to go, you're on your own, I'm leaving you, and he'll be the one to mix it up. But let's hope we have some action before then. We have some great fans, and we need something to talk about. Maybe we could talk about WWE again.
Yeah, that's possible. Meanwhile, this second pack, they're doing everything that we said they wouldn't do. They're all starting to race up with one another. So Justin White on the outside, Dvorchik back there, the 24, Ben Mashburn. And I'm just starting to wonder here, Garrett, maybe, just maybe, this group, if they are losing that front pack, do we think they're saving fuel? Do we think they're trying to save a lap or 2 of fuel to make it to the end of the race? Because we know that front pack, they pitted early. They pitted on lap number 27. It just makes me wonder if this pack of drivers here are actually maybe only driving half throttle down the straightaways. I'm just not sure. It's just a little suspect at this moment in time. Something that we're going to have to wait until the end of the race to find out here on 3Y TV. Rich Sobel rooting on Josh Sobel, saying just wait for your opportunity to make your move here tonight. And now that's kind of what Talladega is all about. It's a little bit of a chess game, Garrett, on when do you make that move.
Yeah, it's definitely a game of chess out there, Peter, and I'm not smart enough to ever had played chess, and I'm not even good at checkers. Tic-tac-toe is about as far as I can get in sort of the mental theater there as far as games. But that's what you see out there, constantly moving pieces and guys making strategy calls about where to put their car and who to run with. Peter, I do want to ask you a question, and that you might not have the exact answer because I know you didn't design iRacing. But I have been in these races recently where we are single file as the second pack. And someone always comes on the radio and says, guys, the game is designed that if we run side by side, we're actually going to be faster and be able to catch them. Now, I'm not saying that's what they're doing here, and it goes against conventional wisdom because in NASCAR you want to be in a straight line. But have you heard that, and do you know if that's accurate?
I mean, the whole thing about trying to be fast here at Talladega, to me, anyway, is to... Oh, hold on, folks. Hold on to that thought. I saw a puff of smoke, and I'm trying to figure out why. It might be the number 27 here, Stephen Ford. You can see the 27 was all by his lonesome and locked it up a little bit coming down pit road. That was that puff of smoke. And looks like he's just going to come down pit road and maybe end his night. No, he's back out there on the racetrack. So not sure what Stephen Ford is doing there. Maybe just trying to get an early pit stop out of the way. See whether or not he can get back on the lead lap before the end of the race. But Garrett, just you want to hold your line. You don't want to scrub speed here at Talladega. And if you kind of do those two things in a pack very well, with everyone scrubbing as little speed as possible and drafting nose to tail in a line, usually that's the fast way around. But you also, the bigger the pack is, the more accordioning happens, and you start to just lose the... You really want to be packed up underneath their rear spoiler to provide... You see right there what the number one Gracias is doing. With small packs, you can do that very well, very efficiently. In bigger packs, it doesn't quite happen because as one car becomes detached, it kind of ripples through the field and everyone starts to become detached. In fact, it worsens as you get further back. Meanwhile, your leaders are coming down pit road here. Darling going to lead Gracias down. Canizaro, Sobel, Tellier, who is the one lap down, and the number 54 of Matt Cherry coming down. So your top five right here, all on screen, coming to their pit box.
Great job communicating there, guys. Getting the pit road, not running each other over. They fanned inside, outside, and did Chris Darling miss his box again, Peter? What is wrong with him?
Yep, Darling overshot his pit box, but doesn't look like he's going to lose a whole lot of time there as he works his way back up onto the racetrack in his veterans scheme. But he's going to go from first of this group to fifth of this group off pit lane. That's going to give the race lead to the 0-3 right here. Jordan Dorchick in the Dale Earnhardt inspired scheme. Ben Mashburn in the Jeff Gordon inspired scheme. I mean, how about that? Dale Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon, 1-2 at Talladega once again here on 3YT. The National Air and Space Administration machine of Race Clark sitting there in third, also known as the NASCAR. And then Corey Shellman fourth. And rounding out your top five right now was your CraigSetupShop.co.uk Pole Award winner at the show, Jeffrey Vickery, involved in the only caution flag that we had here tonight. Didn't even really take out any cars under that caution flag as well. Just kind of a little bit of bumper cars on the back stretch. We did see Joshua Watt have an issue on the front stretch earlier in the show as well. That did not bring out a caution flag. But we have been green flag now for the last 40 or so laps here at Talladega Superspeedway.
This is a tremendous green flag run, Peter, and we'll see if we can get all the way to the checker, but so far so good. We have obviously this group of cars going to have to make a pit stop here and then get back on track on old tires, I'm assuming. So we'll certainly see if they can keep it green, and we'll also see how this strategy plays out of the guys that came to pit road first, led by Chris Darling.
Yeah, only time will tell whether or not these drivers are trying to push it all the way to the checkered flag. I mean, we might even see a caution flag. The caution flag could change everything here. But, if I think back about it, as you see Stephen Ford there, the 27 on the right-hand side of your screen, the blue machine there going a lap down to this group. He seems to be well off the pace, unfortunately, in his threat level midnight car. But one thing I was thinking about, Garrett, was the fact that I kind of like the strategy, as Philip Scott looks like he's going to peel onto pit road this time. Kind of like the strategy that Chris Darling and company did. They wanted to pit early. They know they can make it to the end of the race from this moment. Why not come down pit road early. So if a caution flag comes out, now they can stay out. Caution flag comes out now, they stay out there on the racetrack. They pass everyone while everyone's in their pit box, taking on fuel under the caution flag. So I think it's actually a good move because they know they can't make it on fuel, which kind of makes me feel like this group here is trying to mainly make it to the end of the race on fuel. I could be wrong in saying that. I just don't think there's any advantage to staying out right now. I really don't. Now, one advantage that there might be is that maybe they're now performing better, they're more efficient than the drivers that just pulled off pit road, like Josh Sobel, John Cannizzaro, Jason Gracias right here. But this group of drivers still locked up nose to tail very, very quick. The only play I can see out of this group, which is leading the race right now with the number 03 of Jordan Dworczyk, is if they are going to save fuel to make it to the end of the race. A little bit of a head scratcher here, but I just don't see this working out for them, even if the caution flag comes out. We'll see. We'll see. Time can tell. Commentators can be wrong, as you see Steven Lashinsky in the 69 peel off the racetrack and head down pit road.
Peter, do we have what their last pit lap was, and maybe you and I could put that number out there so we could even see if it sounds reasonable that they're going to be able to make it from when they stopped? Was it like lap 33 or so, something like that?
I think Drew Eisenmann, Race Clark, Corey Shellman, James Miller, and a couple of others, they came down pit road on lap number 32, so that would be about 28 full laps to go, which seems like a little bit too much if you're running at full speed. Maybe this group is saving fuel. That's the only thing they can be doing. They have to be saving fuel for that to work. You can see in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen the distance as a couple of these drivers pull off towards the back of this group. Race Clark staying behind the 03 of Dworczyk. A couple of these drivers coming down pit road. That kind of leads me to believe maybe that they can't make it on fuel, which, again, going back to my point just a little while ago, I just don't think it's going to pay to stay out there on the racetrack. I don't know what they're trying to do, because if caution flag comes out, these drivers here are going to lose all that track position. So we'll wait and find out. We'll wait and find out. Rich Sobel in the chat saying he expects a caution flag to come out here very shortly. Well, that could very well happen. We'll wait and see. A caution flag could turn this race on its head. We've seen that before, haven't we, G?
Yeah, we've seen the race get turned on its head, and we've seen some of our competitors get turned on their heads Monday and last Friday. 03 coming to pit road.
The Dworczyk on pit road. Looks like Maxwell Castro on pit road. John Freeman as well. Freeman, who I believe escaped a pit road penalty in the 04 Chevy Camaro, as he overshot his pit box this time quite a bit, actually, unfortunately. Castro there and Dworczyk in their pit box nice and smoothly. But somehow Freeman able to avoid that penalty. That was much to his benefit. But now the race is in the hands of Race Clark, your race leader right now, in the number 22 Ford Mustang, with the 44 Kevin Finn right behind him. Finn finds himself one lap down, however, due to, I believe, his last pit stop might have had a speeding penalty or something of the sort that has put him just one lap down to your race leaders. You see the field now catching up to Philip Scott. Was a bit surprised, Garrett. Philip Scott in the National Ninja League Ford Mustang pitted all by himself with no other drafting partners. Not exactly sure why he did that, but it did not work out for him.
Yeah, rough night for the 99 of Philip Scott, who's been a contender, and wow, that got squirrely back there in the pack, but they did a good job keeping it going forward. Philip Scott, a usual contender at all our racetracks, including the last couple of plate races, involved in that early incident, and now struggling to stay in any sort of relevancy tonight. But I'm sure Philip will rebound and be running towards the front again tomorrow night or even next Thursday.
Absolutely. As we continue to get spammed here on 3 Wide TV, make sure that you report that user And they've been all over YouTube recently. YouTube really needs to do something about it. I've seen them on a bunch of different live streams, unfortunately, so we'll make sure to get as much of them going away. Rich Sobel. Oh, that's a good one. And there you go, Garrett. I think that's what you were looking for a little while ago. But anyway, 6 laps to go here at Talladega. And now the big question is going to be, can this group of drivers right here on your screen make it 6 more laps on fuel?
This will be very impressive, Peter, if they could pull this off. It reminds me of that run John Freeman was having at Pocono, where you and I are up here saying he couldn't make it, and he ended up getting there. And these guys aren't going to make it to the end. They're pitting, and I think this strategy is not going to pay off how they anticipated. But good effort out there, guys.
Yes, so they will have 5 more laps. Now they can come into their pit box and take on a very small amount of fuel, as Corey Shellman might have just hit the pit wall there. Brady Smith sliding into his pit box as well. There you can see a couple of these drivers working their way back out onto the racetrack. Brady Smith there, the John Deere machine. So now let's check out this group right here. They're already down and away. They're already in turn number 1 and 2. This will be presumably the battle for the race win if we go caution-free for the final 5 laps. Sobel leads, Cannizzaro, Gracias there in third, Matt Cherry, Chris Darling, and at the back of this 5-car train is the number 97, Mike Floppy Tellier. But Garrett Tellier in that number 97 is still 1 lap down as they run.
Yeah, Mike's doing everything he can to stay in that position in case the yellow comes out to be the lucky dog. But you could make a good thing out of a bad night here if you're Mike and push someone like Josh Sobel to his first win, or even make sure that someone else cannot pass Josh Sobel by pretending to go with them to the high side and then hanging them out to dry. So to think the 97 isn't going to be involved in this finish is silly unless he decides to pull off, which I've also seen people do and say, hey, I'm not going to impact you guys racing for this win. I'm going to back off and let you guys settle it amongst yourself on the lead lap. So it'll be interesting to see. We have some teammates up here in the front, and we have some old friendships, such as Jason Gracias and Chris Darling, as Darling and Matt Cherry take a look to the outside.
We're hearing that Drew Eisenmann in the number 77 machine appears to have received a pit road speeding violation on pit exit. He has just entered his pit box in the number 77. At least that's what it appears to be. That is going to be heartbreak for Drew Eisenmann, who continues to have rotten luck here in the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series. He will fall 1 lap down to your race leaders as they now just have 3 laps to go here. The gap from this group back to the next group is pretty much insurmountable, but we are going to go side by side. Cherry to the high line, Sobel to the inside, John Cannizzaro giving a big push to the number 56, the Veterans Day scheme on the number 56 machine. It is going to be a drag race all the way to the finish here tonight at Talladega in the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series.
That's an impressive run on the high side between just Chris Darling and Matt Cherry up there by themselves. You're dealing with some teammates and some friendships on the bottom lane, but Chris and Matt are not giving up, and they're doing a good job using the side draft and keeping their momentum up. And they're going to be right there when it matters, Peter, and they have a chance of winning this race for sure. And
look at Darling in the number 11 just kind of peeking his nose to that higher groove up there. They're going to go around the lap car, the DeWalt Ford Mustang of Joshua Watt, who finds himself multiple laps down at this stage of the race. 2 more laps to go. The Stay Tuned Sports with Jimbo, number 54 there, driven by Matt Cherry, getting a big push from the number 11. The thank you for the veterans, MaxGrafix, Taz Racing Customs, number 11, Christopher Darling. Inside line has, of course, Josh Sobel, your race leader. The Harpoon Designs 56, got David Pearson throwback on John Cannizzaro 17, Jason Gracias in the Force India number 1 there, and then Mike Floppy Tellier, the 97. Total Nonstop Racing Ford is 1 lap down as they currently run. Hoping to see a caution flag, but it will have to come out very soon if we're going to see a Beer Street Journal last call. We will not see a Beer Street Journal last call as the white flag is in the air, and Cannizzaro now jumps to the high side here, G.
Kind of what I expected. I figured John Cannizzaro would be the guy that break up from his friends there at the bottom lane and go for the win. And you can't blame somebody for going for the win, Peter, but I'm hoping these guys in the bottom lane stick together as a team and try to help Josh. But that outside lane with Matt Cherry and John Cannizzaro has all the momentum right now.
It does, but Chris Darling in the number 11, he is now dropping back just a little bit from this pack. Not sure what his intentions are. Maybe he's expecting them to all wad him up as they're closing in on the number 27 machine. That is Stephen Ford, who stays out of the way of these drivers, but the 17 of Cannizzaro are going to get a little bit of run. Now Terry is going to push his way to the middle. Josh Sobel in the number 56 coming to the start-finish line. They'll make contact behind him, but Sobel gets the job done, and the 56 goes to victory lane here at Talladega.
Peter, if I wasn't so worried about going right through my floor, I would have jumped up and down for joy because I am thrilled to see Josh Sobel get a win. I know it's not official here until they review the tape, but there's really nothing he could have done wrong. There was no restarts or anything like that. Didn't have to pass anyone. Josh Sobel, man, it's been a long time coming. You deserve this. And let's take a look at this finish again, Peter.
One more look at the finish here tonight, and we will get to see what all went down right here coming to the start-finish line. Oh, man, Gracias got turned around, but Sobel in the number 56 over Matt Cherry and Jason Gracias getting the job done. Here comes the next group of drivers to come across the start-finish line. Race Clark brings it home in 6th. James Miller, Justin White, and back behind him, Ben Mashburn, somewhere finished in the 9th position here at Talladega Superspeedway. But how about Josh Sobel here tonight? In that number 56 machine, burning it down here on the front stretch for all of the fans here at Talladega Superspeedway, getting the job done. I know that will make Rich Sobel one happy camper here in the chat.
Boy, Rich, glad you showed up late, but you were here when it mattered. You got to cheer on your son to a win. How incredible is that? And I hope this burnout lasts for as long as Josh wants it to, because he's been certainly owed a couple wins out there, so let's make up for that and really celebrate. But just going back to the series, great job by everyone here in NSRA, the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series, staying green flag here for, 40, 50 laps. Incredible job, everyone, and that's something to be proud of. There's obviously going to be some disappointed drivers out there who didn't get a chance to race for the win because of pit strategy and other things, but good job, nonetheless, staying green and having a good race.
Yeah, that's for sure. And can you tell Josh Sobel's really happy here tonight, Garrett? I mean, it seems like he's going to blow that motor before he's all said and done.
Yeah, it looks like that motor is going to be junk, Peter. He won't be able to run that at the next plate race, but Floppy was saying something earlier about a TNR engine shop, so maybe we'll get somebody to rebuild it. If John Canizzaro's not doing anything during the week, maybe we'll give him a wrench and let him play around with it.
Well, let's see if we can start hitting up those post-race interviews. Let's see if we can go down and pick up Jason Gracias in the number 1 machine here tonight, coming home in at the 3rd position. Jason, you got a copy?
Yep, got you guys loud and clear.
Well, Jason, I mean, what a great race. What a great strategy, you and amongst all those other cars up there to really pull away. I mean, so impressive that a group of 6 was able to pull away from the entire field with some early pit stop strategy, using the undercut to your advantage, and really getting out front. Talk us through your night and that run to the finish. Hopefully you're all okay after being spun around there right at the end.
Well, I'm okay. Just a little banged up. Hopefully that doesn't prevent me from racing tomorrow, but all in all, we came with a strategy kind of similar to what we did last Friday in the trucks, where when one of us got in line, we were trying to be selfless and just followed the leader until pit stops and just worked together. Whoever came out front was the leader. At the end, having Chris and Cherry in our group helped out too a lot. I've raced with Chris a lot, so we have a trust factor there that he knew that I wouldn't pass him, and we just wanted to get through that last pit stop, and until we got to about 5 to go, 3 to go, it was a race. But super pumped that it went green to the end to try to get some TNR car in the victory lane.
Oh, you definitely did right there at the end to get Sobel across the line to take home the checkered flag here for his first win of the season here at Talladega Superspeedway. Definitely another really good run for you. Of course, with all of your wins that you have here in the National Sim Racing Association. How did that play into your strategy here tonight?
I mean, at the end of the day, no matter where I'm at or what I'm doing, the goal is to win. Um, Unfortunately, there wasn't a route for me to get the victory. If I made a move when Cherry and Chris went high with like I think 3 to go, I could have tried to block that run, try to get up front, but on that last lap, there was no way for me to make it 3 wide and not cause a wreck. And I know that Cherry and Chris and Canizaro and Sobel are all racing for much more than things that for me just get a win. So I didn't want to cause a wreck at the end. We had good clean racing throughout the whole race. I wanted to finish under green, and so maybe next time I'll be a bit more aggressive like in the past. But I'm content. I'm content with I guess getting a podium today.
Well, next week is the regular season finale at Richmond before we have an off week for Thanksgiving. What are your thoughts about going to Richmond?
I'm excited. Richmond's probably one of the tracks that fits my driving style. So hopefully I can get this MaxGrafix 1 car back in victory lane next week. But we'll see.
All right. Well, before we let you go, any shout-outs you'd like to give out?
Yeah, thanks to MaxGrafix for being my personal painter and giving me such good-looking paint schemes, whether it's the Truck Series, the TNR Series, or this Xfinity Series. Make sure you check them out on Facebook or go to his website, maxgrafix.co. Thanks to Beer Street Journal and Justin White for putting the series together. Super fun series to run. One of the better cars on the service to run, too, with the Xfinity car. Thanks to TNR guys for coming out, working together. A good group of guys. Shout out to you, Garrett. I guess this one's for you. We finally got a car in victory lane after our mishaps last Friday. And thanks to 3Y TV for broadcasting this. I'm going to have something to watch when I sign off here in a little bit. And shout out to my wife for everything she's been doing lately, even though she's not watching.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jason, congratulations on your 3rd place. And, of course, we'll see you next week at Richmond.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Look forward to seeing you guys next week.
All right, that's going to do it with tonight's 3rd place finisher. Let's see if we can dial up tonight's runner-up, Matt Cherry, G.
Hey, Matt Cherry, Garrett up in the booth. You put on a tremendous show out there tonight. You were going 3 wide early in the race and really giving us something to watch and get excited for on the broadcast. Tremendous job. Couple laps to go there. You decided to make your move with Chris Darling. It seemed like you had to run there on the top side. What did you need to pull it off and get this victory?
Well, Chris, he was wanting to go a couple of laps earlier. I think if we would have just waited just till at least almost the last lap, I think we could have been closer out front. I think we went a little too soon because there at the end, Chris, he was overheating real bad. He couldn't stick with me, and I was side drafting him like crazy. I mean, I was close to him. I'm surprised I didn't wreck nobody sooner than what I did, but I mean, we just didn't have enough help up there. And 3rd's the best we got.
Yeah, our results are actually showing you in 2nd place, so a little better than 3rd. So that was a good run out there tonight. But Talladega races, this was kind of a strange one. We had an almost incident in the beginning. Then I believe we had a 1-car spin, and then solid green flag racing. Did you enjoy the strategy aspect out there tonight and the green flag pit stops?
Oh yeah, I loved the strategy that we had and everything. Just like I said, I just wish we could have had more people up there, more options to go with. But I mean, it's Talladega.
So I'm looking here at the standings. Obviously, you were 2nd in points coming into tonight. You're finished 2nd. You're spotting the chase or the playoffs should be set. Headed into Richmond next week. What are your expectations there? Are you looking just to go out and get yourself a win?
Oh, most definitely. I'm pretty good at Richmond. I mean, I can hold my own there. I'm not going to say I'm the best, but I guess we'll just have to see when we get there.
Yeah, let's hope we all get there in one piece. This week in between races, sometimes you get anxious, and other times it feels like it flies right by, and we're there already. So, just wanted to say congratulations on 2nd place. If you have any shout-outs you'd like to give, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Oh, yeah. definitely. We'll see you next week.
All right, Peter, that was Matt Cherry finishing in second place in the number 54 Stay Tuned Sports Machine. And I believe you've caught up with our race winner and fan favorite, well, at least to his dad, Joshua Sobel.
Yeah, definitely. He is the biggest fan of one person in our chat, at the very least. That is our race winner here tonight, Josh. Finally getting to victory lane here on 3 Wide TV. Tell us about it.
Oh man! First off, this one's for you, Garrett. Hell yeah, we finally got one in there. So I couldn't. I mean, obviously, Gracias really helped out a ton with the pushing, and we knew we outnumbered Darling and Cherry there at the end. So we just kind of held it together and hoped for the best, and that's the best we can do for sure.
Well, that is by far the best you could do getting that win here tonight. Led a good number of laps, but kind of got shuffled back after the first round of green flag pit stops. Tell us how you used that last round of pit stops to get back up to the front.
We just kind of came together. We stayed single file with everybody that was up there, and we really just started taking off. Sound like the second group of guys couldn't really keep it together, and we ended up getting a pretty good distance on them. So really, green flags is what helped us, I think. We undercut so well and had such a great pit strategy that in the long run, that really helped us. And we were more nervous that a yellow was going to come out and screw the plan up, but no, it went perfect.
Yeah, absolutely perfect here tonight for you at Talladega Superspeedway. Only one caution flag, which was early in the race and happened, I believe, just behind you. So really, really good, all things considered, for you here tonight. Next week, we go to Richmond Raceway, the 3/4 mile short track. At least I call it a short track, being less than a mile. What are your thoughts about Richmond?
I love Richmond. So I love it in the trucks. I haven't really done too much in the Xfinity, but it seems like the Xfinity side of things is treating me a lot better than I thought it would. So I'm excited for Richmond for sure. I just can't wait to see how the series goes now that I have a win under my belt. I'm doing pretty well. I mean, I'm doing really well in points. So we'll see how this chase goes.
Yeah, the chase is coming up. Next week is the final round before the chase. 5 rounds, North Wilkesboro, Kentucky, Bristol, 5 Flags, and Charlotte. A couple of short tracks. In fact, 3 short tracks in that run to the championship. But do you think that's going to suit you?
Bristol is going to be terrible for me. No matter what it is, Bristol is always a bad track. I just can't figure it out. 5 Flags is my hometown track. I know that track really, really well. So I'm actually really excited for 5 Flags. I think I'll do really well there, honestly.
Well, you have now just struck fear in all of your competitors here in the run to the series title. But Jason, before we let you go here tonight, anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my dad for watching, supporting me through this whole thing. Brantley, he's always in the chat too. Harpoon Designs, he's killing it in the design department there. Go check him out over at harpoondesign.com. Stay tuned sports for he has my back and everything as well too. So I'm glad that he's on board. Beer Street Journal for the series. I'm loving the Xfinity, man. I don't know what it is, but I'm hoping we just can keep this going. Obviously, y'all in the booth. Love it. Garrett, glad to see you up here as well too. I'm happy we could get this done, man. And hopefully we can put somebody else up here.
Absolutely. Well, Joshua, a huge win for you here tonight at Talladega Superspeedway. Looking forward to more wins here in the future on the channel. But really great to have you up here in the booth once again. We'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, that's going to do it with tonight's race winner, Joshua Sobel, in his Harpoon Designs Veterans scheme as well here tonight. Of course, it is Veterans Day, and it is great to have that on the number 56 here on 3 Wide TV. But really cool to hear that his hometown track is going to be in the last couple of races in the run to the championship. And of course, he locks himself into the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series chase here with the win tonight. Let's see if we can bring up the final race. Oops, sorry about that. The final race results for all of you folks. That was the wrong button. I do apologize for that. There we go. That's the right button. Sometimes my buttons get all mixed up and don't want to do that. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. Finally comes up. Joshua Sobel with the race win, like I said, locks himself into the Bear Street Journal Grand National Series chase. Jason Gracia is going to come home in second here tonight. Matt Cherry in third. Chris Darling fourth. John Cannizzaro Jr. in fifth. Race Clark sixth. But look at that gap. 12 seconds between Cannizzaro and Clark. Miller is going to come home in seventh spot. Ever since he came to the league, he's been tearing things up. Justin White finishing eighth here tonight. Ben Mashburn and Maxwell Castro, rounding out your top 10 there, G.
Yeah, just outside the top 10, we have Brady Smith in 11th, Randy Perdue in 12th, John Freeman, the 04, had the little incident on pit road, 13th. Shane Ledoux comes home at 14th. Corey Shellman, who actually was up front there for a little while on some pit strategy, comes home at 15th. Glenn Grimm, 16th position. Philip Scott, as we talked about during the broadcast, not the night he was hoping for, with a 17th place finish. Jeffrey Vickery brings the threat level midnight, number 21, into the 18th position. And I can't see 19th or 20th, Peter, so you're going to have to help me. There we go. 19th, Jordan Dvorak, and 20th, Floppy Tellier.
David Lashinsky, 21st here tonight. Drew Eisenmann, late speeding penalty on pit road, finishing 22nd. Kevin Finn, new to the league. He's going to come home 23rd, also having pit road issues. Alexander Kerfon, also pit road mishaps for him, finishing in 24th. Stephen Ford in 25th, and Joshua Watt rounding out your 26 car field. Now, before we go, of course, there's a couple of things that we have to do here on the channel, and one of those is to give out our biggest mover of the race award, which is going to go here tonight to the number 22 of Race Clark, picking up 18 spots on his way to a 6th place finish at the Talladega Super Speedway. If you want a custom diecast of your iRacing car or any other racing NASCAR, make sure you check out Taz Racing Customs for your custom diecast needs. One other thing that I did want to do here is I actually wanted to see if we can bring up, this is the battle on the last lap. This was a little bit further back in the pack, folks. This was the second group contact there between, I think, Randy Perdue, Kevin Finn, and this is one of the reasons why this backpack, we completely missed this, but Garrett, we were focusing on the battle for the win, but all chaos broke loose on the final lap, and watch this battle to the end between Maxwell Castro and Ben Mashburn. This was a battle all the way to the line. Mashburn there just barely nipping the number 15 for that position, but a lot of contact there right at the end of the race.
Yeah, that was a tremendous battle, and these two guys are able to sneak into the top 10 there just by talent and luck. And good thing for the leaders that these guys didn't wad it up the lap before. Once you get that white flag, an accident like this happens, it doesn't really matter. You just have to hope for the best and drive through it. But wow, that was a tremendous job. Banking back up to the wall, back down to 69. He went for a heck of a ride there. If 60 laps at Talladega wasn't enough for him, he got even more of a ride there.
Yeah, let's see if we can see also what happened to the 04 machine. John Freeman here, because he was coming down the backstretch here, and contact with Randy Perdue sent the 04 heavy into the inside wall, and then it wasn't long after that. Oops, sorry about that. Trying to find, there we go, Shane Ledoux. There's the other carnage. It's the 03, I think that was, of Dvorak getting airborne just briefly. Let's see if we can get maybe one more look of this one from of Dvorak in the 03. He's all the way down below the yellow line. Comes back up the onto the racing surface. There's the contact as Perdue comes down, clips Kevin Finn, and then the 03 gets up almost fully into the air. That's usually what we see happen to the National Air and Space Administration machine of Race Clark. It didn't happen to the 22 here tonight, but Dvorak unfortunately did not quite have the run that he had earlier in the race. There is, oh man, almost gunning up into the 04 of John Freeman there. Not sure if he was just trying to stay out of the way and then lost control, or whether or not the 03 was just completely toast at that point, but Dvorak, his night appears to have ended in smoke here at Talladega Super Speedway. Well, folks, that is just about going to wrap here tonight in the Beer Street Journal Grand National Series. Our live timing and scoring has also said, I am done here tonight. I am going to pass out as it has decided to do its own thing up at the top of the screen. We'll just kind of throw everything back together because I can't control it anymore. But I do want to give a shout out to, of course, BeerStreetJournal.com. If you haven't checked them out already, make sure you do so to find out all about that Arby's Crinkle Fry and Curly Fry vodka. Stay tuned Sports. Their link to their Podbean is in the description if you want to listen to their podcast. MaxGrafix.co. Brookstone Animal Hospital didn't give out a single Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog Award here tonight, Talladega. Taz Racing Customs. And of course, our friends over at craigsetupshop.co.uk. But Garrett, short track racing next week at Richmond.
Yeah, looking forward to Richmond next week. Joshua Sobel, no more pressure on him. He's in, so he can just race for a win next week. And how exciting and how relieving is that if you're the 56? So looking forward to that. Please tune in to 3Y TV and the National Sim Racing Association tomorrow night for the rock and roll race at ORP. And thanks, as always, Peter, to you and the admins here at NSRA for having me. This is always a blast.
Absolutely. And of course, thanks to everyone for joining us here tonight on 3Y TV. But until we meet again, stay safe and all that good stuff. And we shall see ya.